Scott, a tough evening at the Broadfield Stadium. What was your take on the game?
Yeah, disappointing. Disappointing outcome. I think on reflection, when you look at the first half, I thought we probably started the game really well. I thought we were quick with our play, and then we had a really good chance Orsi should score. We limit them to very little. But then we seem to put the handbrake on a little bit halfway through the first half, and we play so slowly and play backwards a lot. And, I think that because of how their defensive shape set up against us, they made it difficult, but we were too slow in the build. We were ponderous in the way we played and got through them. Having said that, we did get through them on a number of occasions, but then don't make our moments count. Again, I think around 40 minutes, McCurdy gets a great chance. A near post header should score again. So, we should be 2 goals, or at least should be 2 goals in the net from us in the first half, but we don't. And then we're sloppy with our play, which gives them a first goal. But we come in at half time reasonably happy. And I know that the tweaks we need to make and get into the players about playing quicker and playing forward. And then second half, we're in the game still. And I don't know what time they scored the second goal, but it was a poor goal to give away. We're in charge of the ball in their half of the pitch. We make a pass. Oh, to be fair, we should have made that pass 5 seconds sooner in the action. It comes back round and we make the pass at the wrong time, or there's no movement on the top of the pitch. Turns over, they counter-attack and score. Good goal by them. And the third goal's, we've got him in the corner. He should never be able to wriggle free and get out, and he does. And obviously 3-0, and it looks terrible, and it was terrible probably when you look at it in reflection, especially in that second half. But it's a game we're in for large parts of it. I really believe that. I think we're in that game for probably 60 minutes, and then we kind of capitulate a little bit. Having said that, I think we've probably, or I've certainly been a victim of success here. I've won promotion with a team that should have got relegated, and everybody expects us to do it, I suppose, every week. And when you get beat by the team who are third in the division, I think we need to be measured about that. Whilst we've obviously set out the game plan to win this game tonight, we haven't. We've lost. But we all need to stick together because, it was a tough game tonight. Last 2 games have been tough. Crew are going to be probably playoff candidates, and these are likely to get automatic. So we've got to be measured as a football club, and where we're at, we're not where they are at the moment. And I thought we were good in spells of this game tonight, and then really, really poor in large spells as well. And unfortunately, when you're poor in large spells and you give the opportunity for them to go and hurt you, they did, because they do. That's why they're third in the league. So yeah, a poor kind of evening.
Yeah, and I suppose, as you touched on already, a victim of not taking those chances, and that's what happens when you play against good teams. If you don't score, that they're eventually probably going to get a chance to score, and as you say, showing why they are third in the league, 'cause they punished us, didn't they?
Yeah, for sure. We didn't punish them. We had, like I say, we had 2 big chances in the first half. We had a couple of bits and pieces. I think Flinty had a header, didn't he? I think Flinty had a shot as well, did he? Hit the post, or somebody said it hit the post. I think that we had chances in the game, but again, we don't put it in the net, and then it goes down the other end and bites you in the arse. But we've got to be better. We've got to be engaged more in the game. There was first half we were slow in the build. We're so slow, and then we played backwards too many times. We're not engaged. We're not aggressive enough to go and hurt the opposition. And I think we became ponderous. And then second half, like I say, we're still in it. And then we get looser and looser and looser, and then in the end it looks so terrible. It looks so terrible. But like I say, we've played a team who are third. They deserve to win. Good luck to them.
Yeah, when you say obviously that we're slow and it was a slow build up, what is it that you put that down to? Is that people not doing their jobs in terms of creativity, making runs? Is that just a confidence thing where we're not playing the ball when we should?
Yeah, 100%. We're not quick enough on the ball. So when a team bank in and block spaces and block passing lines, you've got to move the ball left to right to left really quickly, pinch it into the midfield players, pinch it back round, play to the right, play to the left, roll outs. We're just ponderous, we're just slow. We kind of got players at the top of the pitch looking at the play and not actually doing anything about it, not moving. We should spin a few down the sides of them. So everything was in front of them. We got down the sides of them on a number of occasions. Chappie I remember one action where Chappie played Harry Forster in behind. Great ball in, we're in. You know, don't apologise for that. We've got to mix it up a little bit. We can't just pass in front of the opposition. We've got to be, we've got to be engaged to try different things. There was one action where I'm asking Flinty to run forward off the ball just to kind of mix it up a little bit. He makes a 50-yard run and then Theo Vassell turns him down and passes to the side. I'm like, well, your mate's just made a 50-yard run. Don't turn him down when he makes that run. Let's test him out and ask more questions of the opposition. Like I say, we had a couple of chances in that first half, but we don't take them chances, and then we're not great in the game. We're not great. There's bits where we are, but we're not great in the game.
Yeah, and it's a fine balance, isn't it? Because we understand, obviously, the frustration of keeping the ball around the back. People want to see attacking football, obviously, but at the same time, we can't just expect players, if there isn't, a good opportunity in front of them, to just launch the ball forward, because we're not going to win a game by giving the ball back to the opposition. So there's a fine balance that we've got to find, isn't there?
No, but there's horses for courses. You have to mix it up during the game. You have to feel that the tempo's slow. You have to feel that the opposition are blocking you in and there's no spaces. So you have to ask a different question of them. But we never had that idea tonight. We never had that idea. I thought second half was a little bit better in terms of us playing further up the pitch. I think we played a little bit more, I wouldn't say direct, but we passed the ball forward more. But we're bad in moments, really bad in moments, and it looks terrible. So it's on me. I've got to coach the team better. And some of the players need to do more. They need to do more when they're on the pitch. I think it's clear to see that, we've got to stick together. Players have got to put their shift in, and I've got to put my shift in, and the fans have got to stick with us.
Yeah, how do you go about sort of correcting some of those wrongs for the weekend? Is it a change of personnel? Do you have to shake things up, or is it just a reminder and a sort of refresher in training of what we should be doing?
Well, I think first of all, I need to watch the opposition. I need to probably watch that game back tonight and understand a few things, and then watch Tranmere in detail, and then pick a team accordingly.
There were a couple of interactions between you and the fans during that game. Is your message what you've just said? We've got to stick together and be measured and manage your expectations.
Yeah, I think so. I think the expectation sometimes is deluded at times. I think that we need to understand that we're in a battle. We're in a relegation battle, and they're not. They're at the top end of the table, so their quest is different from ours. But they're at the top of the table for a reason. They got relegated with us last year, and they recruited really well in the summer. And we probably didn't do as well in terms of that. And we're now done some brilliant recruitment in January, so we're probably behind where they are, obviously. And we've got to be measured, and we've got to understand that. Did I set my team out to win that game tonight? Of course I did. Of course I did, but we didn't. And then, I'm getting shouts from behind me and boos and people flicking the V sign at me and stuff like that. And, let's just remind ourselves of where we are. We're in a battle. We need you. We haven't been great. I'm not deluded. I'm not standing there saying we're amazing, support the team and sing loads of songs and that. But we haven't been great. We know that. But we need you. I need you. I need the fans with me. And at the moment, it seems a little bit kind of like we expect to win that game tonight. And whilst I set out to win the game, we should never expect to beat a team who are third in the league. Last two games have been really difficult. Crewe and Cambridge, they're tough games. They're tough games, whether we're at home or away. It doesn't make a jot of difference. They're third in the division for a reason, because they're very, very good. And we've just got to stick together and we've got to be measured. We've got to be measured. There's times when we'll win games, times when we'll draw, and there's times when we get beat. I don't think I deserve. I certainly don't think the team deserve to be booed when you lose to a team who are third in the league. And I want everyone to stick together. And it's not been a great season. I'm the first to understand that. I live this club. I live the job. I live every moment. I'll be working tonight till God knows what time. I'll be working all day tomorrow. I live this club and I give everything. And this set of players now does as well. I know how hard they work. They're hurting in there. I've just heard the conversations in there with the captain and with players in there. They're hurting in there. It means so much to all of us. But let's be measured and let's stick together because it's not going to be perfect every game. It can't be when you're down there. It's not going to look nice at times. It's going to look scruffy. We're going to have to grind a few out, and we're going to lose some games. That's the nature of where we are at the moment. But don't boo us after getting beat by the team who were third. I don't think we were great tonight. I'm with you. I understand it. I don't think we were great, but we don't mean to play poorly. You know what I mean? We set out with all our intentions to go out and do well. And there's parts of that game. Listen, Orsi should score, Maka should score. We score them goals. Might be different, but we didn't. And when you, like Sam said, when you play against teams with that quality, and you don't take your chances, you guarantee they will. Yeah. And that's what's happened tonight. And we got probably predominantly worse as the game went on. I think we just got worse as the game went on. But I'll be back at work tomorrow, ready to go again.
Yeah. And just Theo for sale, do we know?
Yeah, too early. I think it was hamstring. Yeah. So probably too early to say at the moment.
Yeah. And Lewis Richard made his first start. How do you think he got on? And then related to that, how's Johnny Russell?
Yeah. So Johnny's got a slight groin injury where there's a possibility he could be fit for Saturday. We're hopeful. And Lewis, listen, it's his first game, first start.
Yeah.
I thought it was a tough game for him. But he'll be better for it.
Yeah. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Dan, thanks for joining us. Obviously a tough evening here at the Broadfield Stadium. What was your take on the game?
Difficult evening. Game of both boxes. We should have been 2-0 up within the first half hour. And then they have a chance 3 minutes before half time, I think, which was their only chance really off the top of my head, which they put in the back of the net. So it was disappointing to go in at half time, but even then I still felt we were in it. And yeah, they've obviously hit us with the second, which I think kind of put the game to bed. And then the third was just, 90th minute. Not good enough by the standards we set, and something we've got to get behind and put behind us now, and really look forward to going to Saturday away to Tranmere to get the right result. Yeah,
we were just talking a little bit off camera before the interview and summed up quite nicely. They're probably punished by a team that sit third in the table. They're probably one of the favourites now, and the form they're on to gain an automatic promotion spot. And ultimately, as you said, if you don't take your chances at our end, we're going to get punished by teams like this, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they've lost one in the last 16 now. They're up there for a reason. You've got to give them some respect for that. You could see tonight they're a well-organised team. But again, if you said to me going into half-time who was top, who was down the bottom, I personally don't think you could really tell, apart from in both boxes. It's, I think, for the standards I set myself, I should have scored at the beginning. And I know Maka feels the same with his chance. So put them two away, it's probably a different game. But again, we've just got to stick together and really, really push on to go to Tranmere away now and get a positive result.
Yeah, Scott touched on the fact that he felt that we sort of not dawdled, but were slow at times, that it could have been quicker. How do you feel about that, obviously being on the pitch? Do you think, there was moments where we could have moved the ball a little bit quicker out the pitch? Were we taking too much time on the ball?
Yeah, definitely. I think especially the first half, there was times we could have maybe been a bit more aggressive with the way we played, sped the ball speed up, really hurt them. Because I think the few times we did, we created chances. Or we created turnovers, so when they kicked out the ball out of play and we've had a chance from that. Again, I think probably looking at the Saturday result, backed up with this one, I think we could have done more to win the game as a collective. But yeah, I think what Gaffer said there is spot on, especially in the first half. We could have definitely moved the ball a bit quicker and tried to cause them a few more problems.
Yeah, and ultimately, you know, just before this, you know, obviously Saturday, Tuesday spell, you know, we've won 2 out of the last 3. We've got a point away at Walsall, who are obviously flying high towards the top of the table. You know, there are 3 really good performances in there as well. Obviously, you know, Barrow wasn't the cleanest, but again, we got the win, you know, a good haul of points. So this team doesn't just lose that, you know, in the space of 2 games. You know, obviously we are in a little tricky patch at the moment, but, you know, there are those sort of performances still in there, aren't there?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of the new boys came in Jan, which I think changed the mentality around the place. Like you said, went to Barrow, really good result. Having not played well, went to Warsaw, played really well. Probably should have got more from it. And then good result against Harrogate. And then the last 2 results probably should have done more, could have been better. And again, the boys know it. Let's not hide from it. No one's in there going, oh, we should have done this, should have done that, and bit in doolally land. We know the levels we've got to reach. And I definitely feel a few boys feel probably their performances of the last couple of games haven't been to the level that we require. And I think that as long as we're sticking together, fans included, we can have a positive end to the season, because I think we've showed in the last 3 games, obviously prior to Saturday, that we can be a good side, that we will fight, we will run and we will battle. We've just got to make sure we're doing that continuously, game after game.
Yeah, definitely. And as you say, it needs everybody to stick together. And especially after this January window now, we've got a lot of players in that dressing room who know what Football League status means to a club of our size. You know, it's well documented, you know, how hard it is if clubs are to go down, how hard it is to get back up. So there's people in that dressing room now that know, you know, how important the rest of this season is, and it's never going to be through the want of trying, is it?
No, absolutely not. I was lucky enough to be a couple of years ago and see what it meant to the club to get promoted, to step up in the Football League. I wouldn't have came back to the club, and I'm sure a lot of the other boys wouldn't have, if we didn't think we were good enough and the fans weren't behind us to keep this club in the Football League. We know how big it is to the community, to the town. Like we said in there, we've got to stick together, because like you said, January window's over now. What's in there is what's going to get us out of it. Again, I think the gaffer said it in previous interviews now. We haven't got time really just to wait for it to gel. We've got to go out there and perform. And I think we've got the quality to do that. So let's go and show it.
Is that the message to the fans as well? We've got to stick together, because there was a bit of booing at the end. Scott had a bit of interaction with a couple of the fans and that. Is it about managing expectations as well with the fans, because they've enjoyed success? Is it about them now managing sort of expectations where you are in the league and what the battle you're in?
Yeah, I think so. I think, again, not to dwell on it too much, but the year I was here, I remember we got to April and we played Barrow at home, and there was booing in that game.
Yeah.
And we were at the top end. So, listen, fans pay their money. I'll say it, supporting Arsenal, for example. I've booed before. You pay your money, you go there, you want to see something. And again, tonight, I think they were right to. I think especially the performance towards the end wasn't where it needs to be. But again, I hope they know how good of a group we can be, and how much their support and them getting behind us in games and really egging us on to go and score, to go and create another chance means to us. I think we all know how highly we all think of the gaffer as well, and what he can do. And I think probably the first half of the season, the mentality from some boys and kind of the people in the building wasn't quite right, which is why the club had such a big window like they did. And I feel like there's been a real shift around the place. So we've just got to really make sure we stick together now. Fans getting behind us, we're putting in good performances, and we have a real positive end to the season.
And we haven't spoken to you since you first came back. How have you found it? I mean, obviously you haven't got that first goal yet. You feel it's coming though, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's one of them things. I just make sure I'm doing the right things every day, trying to stay on top of it. I know it's going to come. Would I have liked it to come already? Yes. Would I have liked to come on Saturday against Crewe? Yes. But again, I'm doing the right things every day. I think my performances, distances I'm covering have been at the level that I expect of myself. And I know when the goals start coming, they won't stop. So it's just getting that first one now. But again, like I said, we had a few good results. We're winning. That was the main thing. And obviously nights like tonight where you have the chance at the beginning, I think, like, for my standards, I expect myself to score there. And it probably would have put a different ending to the game tonight. But yeah, we'll move on to Saturday now and recover and do everything right going into it.
And should that goal have stood against Crewe on Saturday?
He said he gave it for offside.
Right.
So if that's what he's giving it for, then he's wrong. and he should have stood. So that's it. You can't say it should have been this, or if it wasn't that, it was this. He said offside, and it was onside. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
Fair enough. Thanks, Dan. Good luck Saturday.
Cheers.